As a brain doctor, I'm shocked this nuts raise stroke risk overnight. You go to bed like any other night. No pain, no symptoms, no warning signs. But the next morning, you wake up and immediately know something is wrong. Your arm won't lift, your mouth feels locked, and the words you want to say vanish into thin air. You see your loved ones standing there, calling your name in panic, but you can't respond. This isn't a dream, it's a silent stroke, one that happened while you were asleep. And what shocks me most, as a brain specialist, is that the cause isn't sugar, smoking, or stress. It could be a handful of nuts you've always believed were heart healthy. I know this sounds hard to believe. How could a food praised for heart health and rich in minerals like potassium quietly contribute to a stroke while you sleep? The problem isn't the nuts themselves, it's who is eating them, when they're eaten, and what condition the body is in at that time. Have you ever thought bananas alone could prevent leg cramps? Have you taken a potassium supplement every night, yet still woken up with painful calf cramps? Or heard that potassium is good for the heart, but no one told you about its safe limits? I'm not making this video to scare you. I'm making it because I've seen far too many people, especially those over 60, get caught in a spiral of advice that sounds right but lacks context and clear guidance. So what exactly is happening inside your body while you sleep? Why could an innocent-looking nut become a hidden trigger for a medical emergency? And could your nightly potassium habit actually be backfiring without you realizing it? If you've ever eaten nuts or taken potassium to prevent cramps or simply because you think it's healthy, the next part will make you completely rethink your routine. Ready?
1. Why strokes happen during sleep. Have you ever heard someone say, "They were perfectly fine yesterday, but this morning they're in the hospital"? It's not rare. In fact, a significant number of strokes in older adults don't happen while they're active. They strike during sleep. This may sound paradoxical, but the human body, especially past the age of 60, isn't as straightforward as we think. So what is really happening inside you from midnight to sunrise? When you sleep, you might think your entire body shuts down to rest. But the truth is, your brain stays active, your heart keeps pumping, and blood still needs to circulate to feed your cells. However, this circulation slows significantly. You move less, you don't drink water for hours, your body temperature drops, and this makes your blood slightly thicker than it is during the day. Sounds harmless, right? But if you already have hardened arteries, unstable blood pressure, or even mild dehydration, that slight thickness is enough to create the perfect environment for a blood clot to form. Are you certain you're not in that risk group? It doesn't stop there. Multiple studies have shown that blood pressure tends to rise slightly between 3 and 5 a.m., partly due to your body's natural circadian rhythm. For younger people, this isn't a big concern. Their arteries are still elastic and resilient, able to handle that pressure surge. But in older adults, where vessel walls have grown stiff, thin, and fragile, even a small spike can be enough to crack a vessel or jolt a tiny clot loose and send it straight to the brain. You won't feel pain. You won't wake up. There will be no warning until it's too late. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with a tingling hand or trouble speaking? Picture this. You're pushing thick honey through a brittle plastic straw. During the day, it might hold. But at night, when the temperature drops, pressure fluctuates, and the straw starts to crack, the smallest disturbance can trigger disaster. This is why nighttime strokes often arrive like a ghost. No sound, no symptoms, just the aftermath waiting for you in the morning. And here's the twist. There's a factor few people suspect that's quietly adding to this dangerous equation. It's not stressful, it's not lack of sleep, It's a food you've been told is healthy, but it could be the final drop that overflows the glass. So which nut could be silently thickening your blood? And why could potassium, a mineral praised for heart health, actually contribute to the risk of a silent stroke? Let's keep going. I'm going to show you, nut by nut, the exact biological mechanisms most people overlook.
2 nuts and potassium, when benefits turn into risks. Have you ever considered that those small, crunchy handfuls of nuts could be making your blood thicker, raising your blood pressure, and triggering a stroke risk while you're fast asleep? I've seen countless patients stunned when I tell them that certain nuts, despite their healthy reputation, can backfire if eaten at the wrong time or in excessive amounts. So what's the truth? Take Brazil nuts, for example, one of the most striking cases. They contain a trace mineral called selenium. Now, selenium is essential for the body in small amounts, but in excess, it becomes toxic. Just 2 Brazil nuts can give you nearly 4 times your daily requirement of selenium. Imagine eating them at night, when your body is in rest mode and your detox systems are slower. That selenium builds up. The surplus makes your platelets stickier, increasing the likelihood of tiny microclots forming, like little rafts blocking the river of blood inside your body. Have you ever considered that this slow, silent buildup could be the very reason a stroke strikes you in your sleep? And that's not all. Salted almonds, a popular snack for many, carry a surprisingly heavy sodium load. Just a small handful can account for over 20% of the daily sodium limit recommended for older adults. Sodium doesn't just increase blood volume by holding on to water in your body. It can also cause sudden spikes in blood pressure, especially at night, right when your brain needs calm and steady circulation the most. Have you ever considered that this innocent little plate of salted almonds might actually be a ticking bomb in your circulatory system? Did you know that cashews contain a compound called oxalate? When oxalate binds with calcium, it forms tiny crystals that can lodge themselves in your blood vessel walls and kidneys, causing inflammation and hardening of the arteries. This slows blood flow and increases the risk of clot formation while you sleep. Could it be that the delicious cashews you enjoy late at night are quietly waging war on your own body? And what about sunflower seeds? They pack a triple threat: high sodium content, excess omega-6 fatty acids, and the fact that they're often roasted in industrial oils. All of these accelerate inflammation and damage to blood vessel walls. The tiny capillaries in your brain, as delicate as glass tubes, can rupture without you even realizing it, leaving behind silent scars that steal pieces of your memory and your ability to speak. Would you have thought such tiny seeds could deal such damage to your brain? And finally, there are walnuts, famous for their omega-3 content and often hailed as brain food. But eaten at the wrong time, they can backfire. Their slow digesting fats force your body to divert blood to your stomach for digestion, reducing blood flow to the brain during the very hours it needs circulation the most for overnight repair. Even more, this digestion process can trigger cortisol, the stress hormone, making it harder for you to fall into deep restorative sleep while subtly raising your stroke risk. Can you imagine how eating the right nut at the wrong time could be so dangerous? So the question becomes, if these familiar nuts can pose hidden risks when eaten at the wrong time, can simply eating a few bananas or taking a potassium supplement at night really protect you from cramps or strokes? The next section will unravel that answer. Are you ready to see the truth about potassium and the surprising reality behind this so-called healthy habit?
3. Bananas and supplements. why do cramps still happen? You've probably heard the old advice, eat a banana every day and your cramps will disappear. But can one banana really solve such a complex problem inside your body? Have you ever found yourself still waking up with painful muscle spasms, even after faithfully eating bananas and taking potassium supplements? Why does this happen? The truth is, the potassium in bananas is natural and easy to absorb, but if you rely solely on bananas without knowing how to supplement properly, you may still end up deficient, or your body might not be using it efficiently. After the age of 60, our bodies work very differently from when we were younger. The ability to absorb, metabolize, and eliminate minerals declines, especially in people with underlying conditions like high blood pressure or kidney disease. Have you ever wondered if the potassium pill you take is actually being absorbed at all? Timing is another factor that leaves many people disappointed. If you take potassium pills or eat a banana too close to bedtime, the long digestion process can divert blood flow away from your brain and muscles, making it harder to get deep, restorative sleep, and ironically, increasing the risk of nighttime cramps. Could it be that it's not a potassium deficiency, but simply the wrong timing that's keeping your pain from going away? And not all potassium is created equal. Potassium from whole foods like bananas or vegetables is different in structure and effect compared to synthetic supplements. Seniors should be especially careful to choose potassium forms that are easy to absorb and won't overload the kidneys. Did you know some potassium pills can actually raise the risk of dangerous electrolyte imbalances if taken in excess? If you're still cramping despite supplementing potassium, it could be a sign that your body is missing other key minerals like magnesium or calcium, or that your blood pressure medications are interfering with your potassium balance. Are you sure you understand all the factors affecting your body? If you've believed bananas or potassium pills alone were enough, the next section will reveal why people with underlying conditions like hypertension, kidney problems, or heart disease need to be far more careful with this mineral. Do you want to know how to make potassium work for your health instead of becoming a hidden danger?
4 underlying conditions why you must be extra careful. Potassium supplementation is not always safe for everyone. In fact, if you have heart disease, high blood pressure, or kidney problems, you must approach it with extreme caution. Do you fall into one of these categories? If so, eating nuts high in potassium or taking supplements without clear guidance may not only be ineffective, it could be dangerous. Blood pressure drugs, diuretics, and ACE inhibitors, commonly prescribed for heart patients, can all affect how the kidneys filter potassium. This can cause potassium levels in your blood to climb higher than your body can handle. When serum potassium gets too high, the risks of arrhythmias, heart failure, and even stroke rise dramatically. Did you know that just a small excess of potassium, if your body can't regulate it, can trigger life-threatening consequences? To make matters worse, aging naturally reduces kidney function, slowing potassium excretion. This means older adults can develop high potassium levels even without consuming huge amounts. Have you ever stopped to think if you truly know your potassium level right now? If you're taking blood pressure medications or have a history of kidney disease, self-supplementing potassium without regular blood tests could be a deadly mistake. Do you think your doctor or dietitian could help you determine the exact safe dose for your body? Additionally, eating salted nuts or those high in minerals like selenium can add extra strain to your heart and kidneys. Did you know that the combination of medication, certain foods, and your eating habits can form a ticking time bomb, silently pushing you toward the risk of a nighttime stroke? So, how can you know if you fall into the high-risk group? And how can you use potassium in the safest, most effective way? That's exactly what we're going to uncover next. Do you want to know the safe potassium range and the warning signs you should never ignore?
5. When potassium becomes a hidden danger. Potassium levels in your blood can't be too high or too low if you want your body to keep running smoothly. Doctors view your serum potassium level as a vital gauge, balancing your heartbeat, muscle contractions, and nervous system function. But have you ever wondered what range is truly safe and when potassium shifts from being a friend to becoming a real threat? In reality, there's a golden zone, roughly 4.0 to 5.0 milliequivalents per liter, where your body works at its best. Drop below 3.0 milliequivalents per liter and you risk cramps, fatigue, and muscle weakness. Climb above 5.5 milliequivalents per liter and you could face arrhythmias, heart failure, or even sudden death. Can you picture just how dangerous it is when you lose control over this delicate mineral balance? For older adults, this balance is even more fragile. That's why supplementing potassium without regular blood tests is like gambling with your health. Have you ever experienced sudden heart palpitations, unexplained dizziness, or deep fatigue? These could be your body's way of warning you that your potassium level is off. Other red flags include mild paralysis, uncontrollable muscle spasms, or shortness of breath. All signs you should never ignore. Did you know that sometimes either too much or too little potassium could be the root cause of these symptoms? The truth is, potassium isn't a magic pill you can take freely. The real key is maintaining a steady, healthy level that fits your personal health profile. So how can you know that exact number and when it needs adjusting? That's what I'll share in the final section, where we'll discover how to eat nuts the right way, at the right time, for the right person. You've seen now that even a small handful of seemingly healthy nuts can turn against you if eaten at the wrong time or in the wrong way, especially as your body changes with age. Potassium, a vital mineral, can be life-saving when used correctly, but it can also be a silent threat when used carelessly. The secret? Balance. Choose the right nuts, eat them at the right time, preferably in the morning or early afternoon when your body is more resilient and absorption is better, and avoid late-night snacking so your brain and heart can rest without the strain of digestion. Equally important is knowing your own health status. If you're on blood pressure medication or have existing health conditions, always consult your doctor before supplementing potassium or changing your diet. Do you believe that this small change could save your life or the life of someone you love? If you or a loved one still snack on nuts late at night or take potassium supplements without guidance, share this video to help others stay alert. Comment 1 if this video has changed the way you think, or 0 if you want me to share more insights. A healthy, peaceful life doesn't happen overnight. It's built from the right habits practiced every single day. Start today with smarter choices. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't miss the science-based, practical videos made for people over 60 who want to live longer and healthier.